the In the Saddle podcast. My name is Nate Jones. This is Caleb Rutherford. And today we have our sports information director, Noah Porter, here for an interview. Caleb.
Noah, can you tell us how you got into your position, sports information here at Mount Mercy, but also your journey into that field?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Boise, Idaho, so I'm not a Midwest guy. Lived in Idaho for 25 years, and I got into the SID field. Like, I knew I wanted to work in sports after being medically told that I couldn't compete anymore, and this was 15 years ago, 20 years ago even. Not quite that far. But I knew that I wanted to work in sports, so I originally was an education major to become a high school basketball coach.
Okay.
Until I realized that education was not something that I wanted to do. And once I was in college, I developed a really good relationship with the sports information staff up at Idaho. And from then on, I realized that digital media and marketing and stuff like that was something I wanted to do. And so I was able to intern for a year at a junior college about 2 hours from my hometown. And then I got my start in the NAIA in March of 2022. And so I've been in the NAIA now for 3.5 years, and I've been at Mount Mercy for 1.5 years.
And what brought you to Mount Mercy?
You know, at my last school, I was wanting a fresh start, and I wanted to venture out from Idaho because to me, there's more to life than living in the same spot. Don't get me wrong, I love the scenery of Idaho, but I wanted to get out. And so I looked, there's a professional organization that a lot of us SIDs are a part of. I'm not yet. It's called CSC, or College Sports Communicators. And there you have a job board of every open spot that ranges from Division I's all the way down to JUCOs. And so I saw that Mount Mercy had posted, and I'm like, you know what the heck, I'll apply. I had applied to a school in Washington and a school in Florida. I came on a visit and I loved it, and I was offered the job, and you know, I had to convince my wife to move 24 hours away from home. We were married for 6 months at the time when I accepted the job. So I had to tell her that I got offered a job in Iowa. She had never seen it here. And so we came on a visit about a month before I started, and she really liked it. And ever since then, we've loved it, and yeah, it's been full sail ahead.
For those of our viewers that don't exactly know what sports information is, could you give us a little insight of what all you do and what all it's entailed?
Yeah, so if you go to like the Mount Mercy Athletics website, I handle the back end of all of that. So I'm more of the guy that helps make student athletes, I don't want to say look good, but like I promote all of our teams, I promote all of our athletes. If you follow us on social media, I run the Mount Mercy Athletics social media team, social media accounts. And it involves taking stats at games. I also do PA work for soccer games and baseball and softball, sometimes basketball, sometimes volleyball. And other than that, I write news releases, press releases, I handle media relations and all that fun stuff.
And with what you've seen over the years, now that you're here at Mount Mercy and you've got some time under your belt, how would you describe the atmosphere of being a Mustang?
I think the students play a large part in that. I am a believer that student athletes and students in general create such a massive part of the atmosphere that makes college athletics special. And so we had a men's volleyball game last year. I think it was against William Penn. And we had 45 baseball players in the stands right underneath our stat takers. When my stat takers are losing their voices in the first set because of how loud the baseball kids are, that creates an environment that is so special and what makes college athletics so great. With football being added on campus, I have seen football players at everything, and they add to the atmosphere. And I tend to notice that when fans are loud and students are loud, your teams tend to play better. I don't know why. I'm not a sports scientist, but it's that athletes are more pumped up once you get fans involved. And I think that having students at games really enhances the atmosphere. And you see that all across the country. Like you look at schools, say like Alabama football, they have like 20,000 students at every game. Well, they're so successful because their students are so loud. And I think having students at games just plays a large part in it. And I think that when we get more students at games, it helps our teams play better, and we see better results from it.
Sure.
What would you say you like most about your job? Is it the stats, photography, interacting with the different teams?
All of it.
All of it?
There's not a part that I can single out. I mean, I would say that I would put stats on the back burner. It's not that I don't like it. It's just like I went to college for digital media, so photography comes naturally. I enjoy the job because of the interaction with the coaches and the student athletes. Like that's one thing that that makes me want to stay at a small school is like at an Iowa, you're not gonna have that relationship with student athletes. It doesn't happen. But here, you know, when I talk to basketball players and soccer players and softball players, you get that at a small school. Stats are a fun part of it just because it's like you're still involved, even though you're just covering a team. But I would say that when you really like what you do, it doesn't really feel like you're working. Like when we're out at the golf classic and we're just messing around, going around doing interviews or taking pictures and stuff like that, you're out on the golf course. That is so much better than a 9 to 5. And you can't convince me otherwise, even though I was fried. You can't convince me that a 9 to 5 in a cubicle is better than that. Mm-hmm. You just can't.
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches got burnt that day. Nobody would have thought about sunscreen.
They said they either got burned or they had sore arms trying to get the football in the trash can.
I was struggling for 3 days because I couldn't move my arm above here because my shoulder hurt so bad. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you just like, would I rather be doing like accounting and finance or out at a golf course taking pictures?
Yeah.
Take your pick.
For sure. So continuing on the stat train, is there like a sport is like your favorite to take statistics? And do you have a favorite statistic of like sports? Like your favorite stat?
I don't know about the favorite statistic because that I feel like if you ask everybody in my position, you aren't going to find somebody that has a favorite statistic.
Sure.
At least not to my knowledge. Mm-hmm. I would say that my favorite sport to take stats is basketball. Mm-hmm. Given that I was around basketball for 4 years in high school, 4 years in college, and now coming up in October, it will be my 6th year in the field. So I've been around it for, 16 years? Like, if my math was mathing.
14.
14?
Close enough.
I wasn't a math major. So basketball just comes naturally to me. Also, baseball and soccer, like baseball, softball, and then soccer are easy because it's fairly on the slower pace side. Baseball and softball are the tricky ones because there's so many scoring quirks that are weird with it. Like I'm a part of a SID Facebook group where it's strictly dedicated to baseball and softball stats and the weird quirks that go along with it. Like, is it a hit? Is it an error? Is it a single that turned into a double? Is it a single where they took an extra base on a throw? Is it like who gets the win? Who gets the save?
All the discretionary.
Yeah. So baseball and softball are easy in the fact that it's slower. It's also one of the most difficult because you get coaches asking you all the time, why did you make that call? And it's like, well, it's a judgment call. And I've had my fair share of coaches say, I wouldn't have scored it that way. And I'm like, that's the way that I saw it. So, and it's one of those things where it's up to you. And you can't let coaches' influence get to you on that. Because, yeah, coaches want what's best for their teams. But is that really what's best for
Right.
the stats? Don't let me stat volleyball.
Why not? You don't want to lose your voice before the first set?
No, it's because it's so fast paced. Have you heard, Sarah?
Yes.
When you are calling out D12, S15, A12 over and over and over again, my mind cannot type that quickly. It just can't. And I don't want to fall behind because then the stress of falling behind is going to make me flustered and stuff like that.
Nice.
What would you say your end goal career would be within sports information?
See, that's a tricky one because I have been so fortunate to work with so many successful teams. Obviously, the end goal is to be at a school like Iowa or North Carolina or Alabama, like a big name Division I school. Obviously, that's the end goal. Another end goal is to win national championships and conference championships. I'm almost at the end of my 5th full year doing this, and I have been fortunate enough to work with, I think, 13 conference champions and 3 national champions. Not many people that have been doing this for 5 years can say that they've worked with that many good teams. So I guess the end goal is obviously to win more, and because nothing beats the feeling of winning a championship. It just doesn't. I also want to be at a Division I school eventually, just because college athletics is like it's what makes the landscape of sports great. Is because just the craziness that goes along with it. And when I say craziness, I mean like the hype and the fan support of it. There's nothing like college athletics. Like, you're telling me people in the South or something like that are going to pay attention more to the NFL, or are they going to pay more attention to Georgia football?
Yeah.
It's a religion to some people. And I watch college sports religiously. And so I want to be a part of that as long as I can.
You mentioned that you like being in the position for this long because of the amount of conference champions, national champions. How does your role play a factor in getting more of those titles?
That's a tricky one because I don't know how to answer that. I would say that it plays a role in trying to get people to games.
Okay.
But obviously I can't control how athletes play on the field. Like, I started in March of last year, and March of 24. Up until, I think, April of this past season, I hadn't seen our baseball team lose a game at home. I don't play a massive part in that. I just announce the games, and I take stats. I can't control how our athletes play on the field. I can't control athletes winning. I just can't. I would say that I play a part in reaching out to the news and saying, hey, this is what we're doing well, like, can you cover us more? Or I can try to like make videos and stuff like that, promoting the team and stuff like that. But in terms of this playing a part in teams winning championships, I don't know. Just because personally, I feel like it's pretty minimal compared to how athletes play. If that makes any sense.
Sure. And so, kind of taking a look in the past, if you were to tell like your younger self something to help prepare them for today, what you do today, what would you tell them?
If you want something that's 9 to 5, this isn't it. If that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, so Kirkwood hosts visit days here, I think twice a year. Mm-hmm. And they always ask me, like, what does it take to become an SID? And I always tell them, you got to be in it because you want to be in it. Don't be in it if you want that consistent schedule. Because you are both graduate assistants. You know, even within the first 2 months of the season, how crazy the schedule has looked
Yeah.
and what it's going to look like on October 4th when we have, 5 events going at home on the exact same day. A younger self would want to know that you're in it because you want to be in it and not because you want that stable schedule. A lot of times when I have spoken to schools at interviews and stuff like that, they've been, so I assume you're pretty comfortable with the non-traditional schedule. Yes, I am, because I love what I do. You have to know that there are days in which you're going to be working 70 hours. It's just part of the job. Or in the spring, when baseball and softball play on Saturdays and Sundays, there might be a month where you're going 21 straight days. It's just nature. And it's something that not a lot of people realize when they say, oh, I want to work in sports. Okay, are you ready to work in sports? Because I can't even begin to tell you how many people that I have seen in this profession that decide this isn't for them after year 3. Just because they aren't prepared for it. Like, I was lucky to intern for 2 years, and so I knew what I was getting myself into. And so you're in it because you want to be in it, not because you want something stable.
Okay.
Purely off the entertainment factor,
Yep.
what sport would you think Mount Mercy could add for pure entertainment?
Knowing how big wrestling is in the Midwest, I would say wrestling.
Sure.
You look at Iowa wrestling, they sell out almost every match that they have at home. And I think 11,000 people fit into Carver, something like that.
Yeah.
To me, wrestling's a no-brainer because I feel like people would come out in droves to watch wrestling.
For sure. Yeah.
Because like even here, I wouldn't say a sport that we could add, but like men's volleyball is not very popular out west. People come out to men's volleyball just because of how fast-paced and intense it is. Those guys hit hard. And so that's a sport that I have come to know here that I didn't know out west because it's just not a thing out there. But I would say wrestling is a big one because I feel like a bunch of people would come out and watch it. Just knowing how popular it is out here.
Yeah. With your side of things within Mount Mercy Athletics, what are some things we can be looking forward to with some of our different teams and as they go into seasons or as they're coming towards their postseason?
Well, you look at soccer right now, and both soccer teams are performing really well. In fact, even volleyball is performing really well. I don't want to discredit them. I left them out. Volleyball, I think, is 8-3 right now, and women's soccer, through I think 7 games, has already doubled their win total from last year. They are definitely on the right. They're second in the Hearten standings, as we mentioned on Tuesday's episode. Men's soccer, with a couple good results over the next couple weeks, could very easily be receiving votes in the next NAI poll. I'm surprised they weren't receiving votes in today's poll. I was surprised. But I think that as soccer wraps up, we could easily be seeing our soccer teams play for conference championships if we stay on the right track. And then, of course, as basketball gets going, women's basketball, I think, has 8 newcomers on the varsity roster. I'm not sure. That's just a number that is standing out. But they have a decent amount of newcomers, and I think that the men's team will be improved from last year. And of course, even as we go into spring, baseball might make a 3rd national tournament appearance. I've talked to the coaches, and the coaches are super happy with what their team's looking like this year. Softball can make a run at another conference championship. We were close last year. If we had a couple more things go our way, we beat a top 10 ranked team in the second round. So I think that the future's bright, and I encourage everybody to come out and watch. Men's volleyball is returning just about everybody from last year. Everybody that didn't graduate is back on the roster. And one of those guys is an All-American. Like, the future for every sport here is looking bright, and football is looking really good. I can't go into specifics on some of their results due to NAI rules, but they performed really well at a scrimmage the other week. So yeah, I think everything is looking really good.
Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come talk to us and talking to our fans online. Is there any other final remarks you want to make towards how to get involved with SID or any upcoming events we have?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Check out our home schedule. We're very busy in the month of in the end of September and October, and then basketball kicks into high gear. So come on out to Hennessy Rec Center and every facility that we have and come cheer on our teams.
Alrighty.
Nice.
And
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow us on all forms of social media and on YouTube. Hit that bell icon and subscribe to stay tuned for more Mount Mercy Athletics.